Hello everyone, it's Dominic here from Esports News UK. I've got a very special guest today. So it's a very long overdue interview. It's Archarom, the once host of the NLC, who's back on the NLC. So Archarom, thanks for joining me. And how does it feel to be back?
Oh, it feels amazing. First of all, thank you so much for the opportunity to do this interview. But it feels amazing. That year, that gap I had, like the workout arc, or the training arc, anime style. Like it took a long time, but I'm really happy to be back.
Excellent. Now before we go into NLC and all of that stuff, apparently, so you're listed on Wikipedia as Alexandra Meyer, right? But
Yeah,
that's not your name, is it? You've fooled everyone in esports.
for a long time. I think it's like 10 years. My real name is Andre.
Right.
So I should say, hello, my name is Andre Archarom Maya, and yeah, Alexander is part of my name, but in the middle, it's not my
Yeah.
real name. So yeah.
Well, we spoke beforehand before I hit record, and I'm going to keep the secret going, right? Anyone who watches this video, this Easter egg, but I'm going to keep Alexandra going on the site, if you want to. So, pronouncing your name then, it's Archarom, is it?
It's Archarom. In Portugal, we call it Archarom. There's a rolling on the R. It's Archarom. But it's a hard one to digest. A lot of American people call me Archarom, and I just accepted the reality of
Yeah.
it.
Has anyone called you Archie?
Yeah, oh, a lot of people.
Have they?
A lot of people. Yeah, you have no idea. It's so when people get to a point where they don't get my name, they either call me Archie or they just say, "Hey, my man." It's not an easy name. I give you that.
So, you could tell, right, I should have done my research here, but is that a Portuguese word? What's the meaning behind that?
It's not a
No.
Portuguese word. It is based on a game that I played when I was a kid, called Sacrifice, a really, really old game that you can actually affect the story by the decisions you make. So it's one of the old ones that has that sort of opportunity. And it's about gods and people that work for the gods, like give the gods give them powers and all that. And there's the god of death that has his own worker that is called Archarom or something like that.
Right.
And when I was a kid, I was really sick. I was not able to go outside of my house. What else? I could actually die. I was most of the time held at the hospital. I had a lot of surgeries and all that. And I really got together, like, I hit a mark with that character. And
Mm.
then at the middle of the game, the character ends up being an ass. And I was really disappointed. And they justify his actions, like the transition, he goes from a really cool character to someone that is really bad, by the way life treated him. And at the point, I was so mad with the idea that I said, you know what? I'm going to change your name. I'm going to adapt your name. And I'm going to prove you that no matter where you come from, no matter what sort of cards you were dealt with, you can always be a nice person and you can always fight for other people. Even if people treat you really bad, like they did, it doesn't matter. Like you can be a better person. So Ashram comes from like an adaptation from a name of a character that I really was in love with, and he turned out to be not the person I thought he was because of background issues.
Mm.
And I'm like, I'm gonna prove to you that it's possible, and that's why Ashram is Ashram.
That is really interesting. I wonder if the developers of the game know about that.
Not really, no, not by a long shot. It's an old game.
That's interesting. And so I know you've had this break over the past year. How has that gone? It looks like you've done some bits of hosting here and there in Counter Strike. There was the
Yeah.
Avero Tech Days Cup a few months ago, I think. But what have you been up to over the past 12 months?
So when I was let off of NLC in 2023 at the end of it, 2022 at the end of it, and I couldn't do 2023, I had to do a hard reset on my mental and all that because 2022 was a really rough year. I did a tweet longer about it where I lost my. I was supposed to get married and I turned single of a 15-year relationship. A few friends of mine died as well, lost a job. I had
Sorry to hear
really
that.
hard depression. It was a really rough one. Probably the hardest one that I had to deal with. I did try to end it all 2 times. And I was like, yeah, I need a hard reset. So I came back to Portugal, to my house, and I tried to do my training arc to understand who am I, what can I do, What is my mountain? We always joke about the idea of Pantheon and me because I really love Pantheon. But Pantheon actually saved my life while I was in Berlin. People started telling me that, hey, you kind of resemble Pantheon. And I started playing Pantheon because I was a Teemo main. Yeah, I was a disgusting human being. And I started playing Pantheon. And the quotes he brings out when you play with him, they really hit the mark. And then I went to read his story and all that. And he died as a god, but he survived as a man. And I started reading more into Pantheon and all that. And I said, like, yeah, I want to understand what is my mountain and how far can I get into my mountain. So what I did in 2023 was mostly like rebuild my character, rebuild my body as well, my spirit, my mind. I did a lot of CSGO. I also transitioned to CS2 as a caster.
Hmm.
I do a lot of FIFA, now EFC 24 as well. I do a lot of hosts. I'm a voice actor as well. I've now been accepted by a lot of cities in Portugal to do communication with kids at schools, talking about motivation, discipline, and all that, like to teach young kids on how to bounce back from a hard situation. So I actively rebuilt myself. Like the Archarom people met person-wise in 2022 is still there, but it's like a revamp, a 2.0 version. I'm glad to be back to work again on NLC.
Well, I'm glad you're back, and I think I can speak for everyone. Fans of the NLC and people working in it as well. Very happy to see you back as a host, and that sounds like you've gone through some real hardships, but there's resilience there, and I love what you were saying about Pantheon and how that character in League of Legends has helped you, and I'm curious as well. You say you do talks at schools or to youngsters and so on. Do you use any Pantheon quotes in your talks?
I mean, I often try to blend in a few of them to see if anybody plays League or something like that. But I'm really inspired by him and the things he says. Like I couldn't keep up with my shame, so I ran around the mountain until even shame couldn't keep up with me. Like those things are really important. And even if I don't say it word by word, I try to implement as much as I can because Pantheon is probably the most well written character in League of Legends. Like I'm not dissing on any other character like Pyro, the new dragon, or even Lilia that is afraid of getting out of the forest. But I'm just saying that a man that was able to sacrifice everything to meet the gods, turn into a god, get killed by the anti-god, and say, you know what, I'm not done. Even if I bleed, like my spear will run out of my hand by how much I bleed, but I still will spit on your face. Like that resilience, I don't know who wrote that, but that speaks really high to my spirit, and I'm really glad the person who did Pantheon because he saved my life.
Well, that's amazing, isn't it? I mean, I'd be happy to reach out to Wright, to be honest, to see who that was because, my main is Vi. I know it's very different
Okay,
to
okay.
Pantheon, but I think Wright did an old illustration book a while ago, and I found out who designed Vi. I don't know who wrote the voice lines, but I added them on Twitter, and we had a bit of a back and forth talking, and that was really nice. So that'd be interesting to see who wrote that. And I'm learning the lore of Pantheon through you. I've sort of just in the past sort of dismissed him as a sort of some kind of Spartan like
Hmm.
character, but it sounds like there's a lot of depth to him. And you've answered a bunch of my questions already about your fondness of that champion and when. So how did you go from Teemo to Pantheon then? Was there someone who told you about Pantheon, or did you sort of stumble upon him in solo queue?
So my favorite movie of all time is 300 because of the Spartan thing. When I was a kid, I was watching that in class, and my teacher told me, "Hey, that is based on a real life story." I'm like, "No way, no way." And then I went home and I studied Leonidas. I really studied Leonidas in the way it's really different from the movie, obviously,
Yeah.
but there's a lot of truth behind it. And the way that he got up one day, it was 50 something. It was not 30 ish. It was 50, 60 at that time. That was the highest you could go to. Like that was your expiry date. And he just got up and he said, well, I know my sacrifice will lead every single Greek to fight for the country. So why not? My life is not that important. The most important thing is what I believe in. And as a man, to fight and die for something you love for is, I don't know, it's like a calling to see how high you can go into a mountain. And when I got into NLC, it was Trouble Inc. that said, oh my, you really you kind of resemble Pantheon. And I'm like, why? Like, because you resemble Leonidas. I'm like, wait, I was a fat Leonidas, but I was still a Leonidas. And that hit me. And man, I just started playing out of a joke, and then I started watching Spear Shots because he plays a lot of Pantheon, and I saw Pantheon sucks as a top laner. Back in the day, he sucks as a top laner, and I saw Spear Shot playing Pantheon nonstop, and he made it happen.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's my life. I wasn't supposed to be alive when I did my first surgery. My doctor told me you have 50% chances of survival.
Wow.
I want you to know that. And I asked him, well, if I don't do it now, how long do I have? And he told me I have 3 months maximum to live.
Gosh.
Like, you know what? Might as well do it. And I was playing Defense of the Asians back in the day on the Warcraft. And it was a team that they did a tower dive on me, and I survived. And someone in chat said, well, you were supposed to be dead, but you did a really good job. Nice one. They were not as toxic as they are today. And that hit me. Like, I was supposed to be dead, but I'm not. And that gave me strength. So I went into the surgery room like, I'm going to make it. So when I see someone like Pantheon or someone like Leonidas or even Spearshot playing something that wasn't supposed to happen and you make it happen, you're breaking the meta. You're breaking the quota. You know, you're breaking everything. You're just saying, I understand your barriers, but I don't live by them.
Yeah.
And that gave me strength to start playing Pantheon. I sucked at it for a long time. I was playing top lane. I was getting devastated. I sucked. But I kept pushing it. I hit diamond with no issues whatsoever as soon as I got a hold of the champion, and I kept climbing. And I'm like, yeah, I want to know how far I can climb into this mountain. And then I realized I don't need to keep climbing the mountain inside of the game. And I stopped playing ranked at that time. It was at that specific day that I said, I don't need to do this. So I started running. And that's when I started building my physique and saying, well, I don't need to play Pantheon inside of the game if I can be Pantheon outside of the game. It was a awakening, you know.
That is brilliant. That's really inspiring. I didn't know I was going to get all this, Archarom. I thought you just liked the guy with the spear in League of Legends. You know,
there's a lot behind. I have a music on my MP3 on my cell phone that I often listen on my gym sessions, and it's like 5 minutes of quotes of Pantheon, the soldier who lived, with a lot of art style behind, you know, and that brings me up like beyond my limit. I'm telling you.
Brilliant story about all of this stuff. And so you've obviously read up on the lore. What are your thoughts on him going into season 2024, or do you not play ranked at all?
I no longer play ranked. I'm diving in back because I want to understand the map as much as I can. I can study the map, but it might as well feel it. I think that's what we need to do as analysts or casters. You need to feel the game before you start talking about it, and then you can study like paper and all that. I've played a few games of Pantheon with new items and new builds, and there's a lot you can work with on Pantheon. You can be like an off tank, an assassin. There's a lot of ways to play with Pantheon. I've now discovered that you don't need to use your ultimate to run away. You can actually use it in the middle of the fight. Like if someone is engaging you, you use the ultimate on their face, and that deals a tremendous amount of damage because they're like, hey, I want to fight him, so I'm not going to dodge the ultimate. Nobody understands how much damage Pantheon deals with the ultimate. So I believe he's on a really good spot right now. I'm not saying it could be meta, but on the solo queue experience, you can totally pull off a Pantheon.
Back when I was first playing League, I'm a jungler, and Pantheon was like my backup. I used to play Jarvan, Vine, Pantheon. This was pre-rework Pantheon.
Oh,
so you weren't playing back then, right? The pre-rework.
I played the throw the spear and poke people. Yeah, I love it. And the skydive is like a circle. Bonk. You just bonk people. The AP Pantheon.
That's
that was
it.
A good one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mode Pantheon.
So I've got good memories as well of Pantheon. So NLC, back to the NLC, that's what we're here to talk about. What do you think can those in the Northern Europe community expect, and fans of the NLC expect from this season? Are there any surprises lined up, or anything you can tell us about going into this season? Working on the broadcast.
Yeah, obviously. We have a really good team. I'm really happy that we got Hiprain and Initialize back. I believe they're like a pinnacle of play-by-play casters. And even though we have a lot of other really good casters there, like having them back is like, your back is taken care of with those guys around you. So no matter what happens, they got your back. I totally trust them. In terms of content and ideas, I did talk with Initialize and I have a lot planned. I already talked with the production because being a host, you have to take care of the desk and some content and bring in ideas, obviously, and do the interviews. But I always think that desks could be so much more than they are right now. Nobody wants to watch a desk. If you go on a live game, people will say start the game, casters. And why is that? I do believe that we're looking into desks in esports a little more on the traditional sports side, and people often forget the fact that we are just kids playing video games. Even if they are competitive, we want to have fun. So yeah, I do want to understand percentage and I do want to understand storylines. I do want to be part of that, but I still want to have fun at the end of the day as a viewer.
Mm.
And the cool thing that I can bring as a host and that I did as a blast host, that's why it works so well playing the guitar on top of the stadium and all that, is because deep down, I'm just a viewer who is blessed to be on stage. So I want to make sure that if I was the viewer, I would have fun. So yeah, I go through every depth of hell in my mind to find new content ideas, and I do have a lot of games planned, and I'm gonna devastate my desk with weird ideas and shenanigans. And that's my first idea, to bring content that people can say, hey, I enjoy this. But also I want to give spotlight to the players, because at the end of the day they are what matters. I
Yeah.
want to understand why that player plays. To me, when I was a competitive player, because I played back in season 1 and 2 competitively, um, I actually played versus Moscow 5 ATN and all that. I was actually a good player, but then age kicked me in the ass. But
I didn't realise that. I haven't done my research there. That me
no,
talking
that
about.
is back in the day of season 1 too, man. That's the old gods know about it. um, so for me back in the day was, I want to see what's at the end of the road. My victory meant if I won, it didn't matter if I was the sick kid, if I was the religious kid, if I was not religious. It didn't care. It doesn't matter my skin color. What matters to me is how I get on that Summoner's Rift, and at the end of the Summoner's Rift, how I perform, because that's what esports brings us together.
Mm.
If you go on football, if you have more privilege, you will probably get on a better team because you're able to afford that. If you live far away from a good team, how can you get there to get the practice? And scouts might not be able to find you, getting money for even the equipment. There's a lot of barriers, so you can go on the traditional sports. On esports, are you good? You have a PC, internet? Show it. So for me, it was mostly about, as a player, to go inside of the rift and say, this is what I can do, because we all start at the same level at the beginning of the game. And I want to know what it matters to other people. So as a host, I also want to talk with players as much as I can. I want to get their background, their stories, and I want to know, what does it matter to you to win a game?
Mm.
It's not all about money. I want to know why you climbed that mountain. Like, tell me.
Yeah,
I love mountains.
that's the mountain again. Yeah,
Yeah,
and
I love mountains.
you mentioned doing cool things on the desk and everything. Would you say you have like a good amount of freedom from leagues, GG, who are now the license holder of NLC?
We did have a meeting, and I provided my ideas and content ideas, and the producer was mostly open arms with me. Just said, I love this, I love this, I love
Mm.
this. Even on predictions, I brought in a new idea that is going to devastate my analysts and all the talents. They're going to be really mad, but it's going to be really funny. And that's what I want. And he said, well, I love this idea. We're going to make it. So I do believe we have a lot of freedom right now on the desk. And NLC 2022, I think it was a banger.
It was.
Everybody enjoyed it. And that's because everybody put their hearts on their lines. Regardless of what was happening on the background, we all killed ourselves to make it shine. And if we can do it again, even without a studio, I think NLC has a really good shot.
Yeah, 100%. And talking of NLC 2022,
Yeah, hit me.
when Pantheon was finally picked in the NLC, and you
Oh
broke
boy.
Reddit with that clip of you, I think the headline was going crazy. Host goes crazy when Pantheon was
Yeah.
picked. Did you have an idea? Did you think at some point that year Pantheon would be picked? So did you have in your mind
Yes.
what you would say, or was it all spontaneous, or a mix of both?
It was spontaneous, but I believe Pantheon was going to be picked by Singularity on the day before.
Right.
a support reached out to me of Singularity. I don't recall his name. I have terrible memory. And he told me, "Get ready for tomorrow. I have a surprise. The spear may appear." I'm like, I went, my mind just blown. And I was like, you know what? I bought a shirt and I wrote his name on the shirt. And I was ready to, in the middle of the desk, like, brah! I was ready. And then he didn't pick it. And I was devastated. And apparently it was the coach that didn't allow him, even though the game didn't matter, yada yada. The coach was like, people may look at us like we're trolling. I'm like, no, it's a champion. It's not trolling. It's a really good champion. So I thought it would appear, but out of a sudden it didn't appear. So I gave up. And on that last day, quick set, he brought it up, and that was that was all that was improvised. That was totally improvised.
It was great, and it made me laugh as well because I think Trouble says straight afterwards, "I'd like to apologise to all headphone users."
Yes, she does. She does, and I love that.
No, that was great. Obviously, you know, things are very different now to a year ago when the then NLC organiser or licence holder Freaks for You let go of the NLC casters, the 2022 NLC casters, and it sounds to me that you guys were caught a little bit blindsided and let go without being told or considered for 2023. So that must have been frustrating. What are your thoughts on that? And then I guess having this fresh start with Leagues.gg, the new licence holder.
Freaks for You is a hard topic, obviously. I really believed we were trying to do something different. I believed with all my heart that we were trying to make a difference in League of Legends, and they truly believed us, and everything was going smoothly. It wasn't the case, sadly, but it is what it is. Obviously, there's an NDA and all that. We did try our best, and at the end of the year, they took, they took the floor beneath me. They took the floor beneath me and a lot of other people. But I moved to Berlin. I was full time. I didn't have Riot or anything in between, so that was my life, and that was a complicated situation. As I told you, 2022 is a really rough year, so with all those things being built up on my mind, and additionally having that on top of it, it was devastating because I had to spend my Christmas, and I did a post about it. I had the smallest tree with little lights, and I said, hey, to all of you who are spending it alone, with nobody, with no friends, nothing, no family, hey, hold on, it gets better. Truly, it gets better. So it was, I think we did something really good, and we could have done so much more if they allowed us. We could have done so much more. The team was amazing, and there was a big war inside as well, and I was trying to find the in between, try to help people stabilize and all that, but my mental was not there as well at the time, obviously. So it was complicated. Now with Leagues.gg, a lot of people told me things about Leagues.gg. I'm going to be honest with you. A lot of people told me a lot of things about Leagues.gg in 2022, going for 2023. And I'm like, well, if I don't have any hard evidence, how can I know? Why should I believe you? And they told me not to talk with them and all that, and I didn't, and I didn't got a job back in 2023, and it is what it is. But from what I got until now, this is what I have. From what I got until now, I believe Leagues.gg is doing the best that they can with what they have available. Production team is heavily hit, and they are accepting all ideas, and they want to make a better product. So they're interested in making this work, at least from what I got until now. I'm like, hey, obviously I have my foot a little bit back because my trust is kind of crushed because of Freaks. But I'm like, hey, I want to believe because I want to work on this. League of Legends can be so much more in terms of broadcast. And I think they're trying their best, at least until now. Let's see when we start. Then we can have another meeting and I can tell you, I'm being tortured. No, I'm kidding. But I believe in them so far, yeah.
And it's not long to go, right? It's January 24th, I think it is. So whenever this interview goes out, just a few days until the NLC Spring 2024 season kicks off. Do you have any views on the teams? Any spicy predictions? Archarom, the rosters have been announced now. They're trickling through. Lions Creed are now in Division 1 and reportedly have Tempt on their roster. Tempt back in there again. So any spicy predictions for the season ahead?
So you want to know if I see anyone winning it?
Yeah, or how people can do. Because, a few people are saying, Lions Creed, look like they've got a good roster that's supposedly been reported on. But then, a few others are coming through as well.
I've learned my lesson on not building up the hype. I remember Riddle from Summer Split. I was like, this is the best thing ever. X7, this is the best thing ever. And I'm like, this is the worst. This is the worst. So I've learned to keep my expectations low until 2 days into the season. I really want to get into the split and have my 2 days of analysis and see how are they working together? Because imagine Tempt is back. I love my boy, but how are they going to support him? He needs a lot of gold. Do they have a lot of economy that needs to be spread out, or will he get all the economy, or is he playing at a different style? Because the items are different, the meta is completely different as well. The map is different. I just want to get a grasp of the floor and say okay, now I have my favorite, but for now, nothing. I have zero expectations. If you ask me right now, for your life, who do you think is going to win? I'm going to tell I might as well kill me now, man, because I have no idea. That's how I'm going into the season.
I respect that viewpoint. Yeah, keeping it, objective and so on. Just talking about casters and your teams. You mentioned. I think that was a great team you had in 2022. Goldberg, Trouble, Jamada, Hiprain, Initialize, Nymera, Viperoon, etc. Do you have any particularly fond memories of your times with them?
All of them. I moved to Berlin and a lot of things happened. And not only did I lose everything, but I also lost probably all my friends, or what I believe to be friends back in the day. So I lost everything. And NLC, the talent team, was all I had. Was all I had. And to be honest, they were more than I could ever hope for. Hiprain, talking with Hiprain for hours for the D&D, because he's a DM and he helped me a lot. Getting Hiprain. Goldberg was and is one of my best friends, even though we don't talk that much anymore because he's really busy. I'm really busy, but I'm fond of that blonde guy so much. And we went out to a lot of lunches and dinners and all that, and we just walked through the woods as well, just to enjoy life. We talked about a lot more than League of Legends. Initialize is a weird guy and I love him, and that's a really cool thing. I remember me, Initialize, Nymera, and Doku was the social manager playing Overcooked 2 at their place. And I'm a chaotic being. Nymera is a chaotic being. Doku is one of the most chill guys I ever met, but he was almost about to commit war crimes because he was so mad with us and the way we were playing. And me and Nymera were just laughing so much, we were crying. We couldn't see the screen, but we kept bringing up the chaos. And we spent 3 hours screaming at each other, and we couldn't laugh more. We went out, we went for beers, we went to dance, we did a lot of things. One person I really love in between all of them is Trouble Link. I really love Trouble Link. She's like a sister. She took me out to lunch instantly. And she was saying, I have my eyes on someone, and then she looked at me like, oh, it's not you. I'm not hitting on you. I'm like, cool, because I'm not hitting on you. I have a wife. And she was like, yeah, but it's not. It was really awkward. And instantly I said, damn, I love this woman. I love this woman. And she stayed at the same hotel as me. And she's really well-spoken, She's like, she doesn't take anything from anyone. She talks her mind off. So whenever I got something bad on the hotel, I was like, hey, Trouble, they're making a lot of noise. Have you heard it? She was like, you know what? I'm going to take care of that. I'm like, you go, girl. I loved her. And we went out to lunch every time we could. We went out shopping every time we could. Like, hey, I want to buy a tie. And she would go with me, and we would buy a tie. And then I would look into the clothes, and I would say, hey, you would look really good on this. And she was like, stop. I'm like, yeah, you would look really good on this. And she would try out a lot of clothes, and she would bring home way more clothes than I would bring. I would bring one tie. She would bring 4 pair of pants, and she was always saying the same thing. I hate you. It's horrible to go out shopping with you because you make me buy stuff that I don't want to buy. I'm like, but you look good though. So like, I hate you. So I gotta say, NLC team. Oh, and Jamada. Jamada is my brother. I can't move on without saying that Jamada is my brother. I love all of them, but Jamada is my brother because he found out that I have African blood. My mom is from Mozambique.
Right.
So I remember when I said that, he looked at me and like, I knew you were a brother. I'm like, what do you mean? I love him, and they were all with me through thick and skin. They supported me when someone pulled the rug below me and they put me in a weird hotel 20 kilometers away from the studio with no way to get to the studio. Nightmare was there with me. Nightmare was there with me. All of them were there with me. And even when I tried to end it all, and I was able to pull forward, I said, hey, at least I have this family. So if I have fond memories of all of them, Solari as well, Eragon as well, Duckling as well, oh, you better believe I do. Because every night I went out with them for Uncle's, which was a kebab shop 2 minutes away from the studio that closed, by the way, really cheap. We couldn't talk Turkish. The guy didn't talk English, but we communicated through meat and kebab. All those nights, weird nights, after the studio, until 1 a.m., 2 a.m., we kept talking nonstop for like 4 hours. I can tell you, Dom, that I revived on 2022, and I can tell that when I got out with those guys, I said, hey, life is actually good with this sort of people around me. So yeah, I have really good memories of that.
That's good. It sounds like they've got your back, you know. And you mentioned some others there, Eragon and so on. So obviously this year, so those names I listed, that was for when the spring 2022 was announced. I think that may have changed in summer, and you had other names. Obviously last year we had different casters as well, and then this year we've got Foxdrop, Eragon, Veteran, Middlecott, Duckling, Rude Dude, and Hip Rain, and Initialize, as you've mentioned. So what's it like to be working with them? I'm guessing you know some of them well. And have you had lots of time to prepare for the upcoming season with them?
With them specifically, not yet. The only person I didn't work with until now is Foxdrop. All of the other guys I've was blessed to work with, and they're amazing to work with. So, and I believe Foxdrop is an amazing talent. So,
Well, I'm sure you have a lot of fun with Foxdrop. I mean, he's from Essex like me, so he's got that weird sense of humour.
It's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. I wasn't able to plan anything with them, but the cool thing is I know all of them, and I'm really proud of this. I'm really proud of this. Duckling got into a meeting that I had with production. He just came in the middle of the meeting, and it was like, "Oh, I'm sorry to drop by and announce and all that. I just wanted to be part of the meeting because I want to know what Archarom has been cooking for 2023 till now, because I trust him." And I know all of them say the same thing. Initialize said the same thing to me. I trust you, man. I know you're gonna pull off something really good. So with all of those names that I look into, I'm like, I feel at home. Even though I'm not working side by side with them, which is devastating, I know it's gonna be really good because they all trust me and I trust all of them. I think we have a really, really good talent team.
Excellent. Well, I'm looking forward to it. Good luck. I know you've got a dash soon, Archarom, so I was going to ask near the start, and we sort of meandered around, went into NLC in different conversations, but you've done some Counter-Strike stuff, and, you know, you've got to be, surely, the only broadcast talent to open an event by performing an electric guitar solo on stage, the old Blast theme tune. So, what was that like?
That was in 2022. That was like... I was revived. I lived. It was the worst year, but also the best year because I was revived. It was improvised, by the way. It was not planned.
Oh, really?
That's the best thing. It was on Saturday. Friday, I reached out to the team and I said, why don't we make something with the theme? And it was like, what's your idea? We trust you. Like, what if I play guitar on stage with the theme? And production was like, do you play guitar? It's like, I used to. I haven't played in 7 years, but give me a day. And the guy told me, you know what? Bring the guitar tomorrow and let's make something. Like, just do what you want. And on Saturday, I get up, I bring in the pen with the background. I did the remix and all that, and I provided to them. Like, put that in, cue my guitar, and bring me up, Scotty. And we do the rehearsals, and I do that. Like, it was improvised. Even the theme was improvised. And I remember people like, this could be really good, but this could be really dangerous as well. What if he misses? And the top dog just said, I don't care, I want that. And I'm like, man, I love you, man. I love it. And we just did it. It was improvised. I remember going on the elevator, and I was going up, and Kerrigan, which is one of my favorite players, was behind me because he was about to play. And he watches me racing on the elevator with a guitar, and I look at him, and he just says, what the? He just says this. I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing, Kerrigan. And I go in, and that's when the kill goes in. So before you see like that little spotlight and me showing up with the flag and all that, before all that, conviction and confidence and all that, the words that came out of my mouth before that, 1 or 2 seconds before, was, I have no idea what I'm doing, Kerrigan. It was panic. But as soon as I hit the stage, I'm like, let's kill it. And it was improvised, and I did that speech improvised as well. Like, I don't know what I'm saying. Let's bring in the Pantheon team again. It was something else, because I knew at that moment everybody was having fun, and that's my objective as a host. That's all. I don't care about the spotlight. I couldn't care less. And all the analysts that work with me, they can justify that and testify that. I don't care about the spotlight, but I want to make sure wherever I'm in the show, people will have fun. If I have to be the spotlight, so be it. If anybody else is the spotlight, so be it. I don't care. I just want people to have fun, because that is esports, fun and competitive.
I'm so glad you said that, because I think people sometimes forget. They get caught up in drama or this and that, or they get serious and they argue about stats or whatever else. It's video games, it's having fun at the end of the day. Archarom, you've been great to talk to, and I know you've got a dash. I've got 2 other points on my list here. Let's see how we can, if we can fit these in. Obviously, you had the flag of Portugal around you when you were doing the solo on stage. So I'd love to know about, your background, maybe where you grew up and how that shaped you as a person, and then your voice acting work as well. I'm curious, what kind of stuff you've done.
We can link those two. We can actually link those two. As I told you, I was really sick when I was a kid, and I couldn't go to school. I couldn't meet friends. I didn't have friends, so video games were my friends. Mario, Bomberman, Mega Man, like all of those, they were my friends, because I didn't have friends. I couldn't. I would die if I tried to make friends. So not only that, but cartoons as well, anime. Some Kenshin Imura, Dragon Ball, and all that. My background was really rough, obviously. It was really hard to readjust to society when I was able to get 2 surgeries in and jump back into society. It was really complicated, because I was lacking a lot of social interactions and cues. And even nowadays, sometimes I have issues with some things, because I missed on a lot of learning skills with society. So maybe that helped me, because I have no barriers. Maybe that kind of helped me. On the voice acting, I can tell you that anime in Portugal sucks. The dubbing, it sucks. It was really good, but it sucks. And when I was watching people dub, it was like, man, I want kids to have fun. I want kids to have fun. So what I did was mostly, hey, how do I get into a dubbing career? And they told me, hey, do a workshop. I'm like, okay. I did a workshop, and they said, well, get some experience. Okay, I opened up a Facebook. I dubbed Rick and Morty in Portuguese. I did all the voices, including the females. I put it up. I got like 100,000 views in a week, and people said like, "Hey, let's do something." Like, cool. Then my Facebook was banned because of I couldn't upload full episodes of something that I don't have the It was not legal. So my Facebook got banned, and I'm like, "Hey, at least I got the gigs." And then we did anime, and we did My Hero Academia, and we brought My Hero Academia to Portugal. It's a long story, but it's a beautiful one. And we were able to bring up My Hero Academia to Portugal. And like, the kids are loving it, and the kids are saying, I'd rather watch this in Portuguese and Japanese. So when you hear that, you know that you did something good. My background that shaped me as a person. Man, my family didn't have a lot. We always grew. We were poor, obviously, and I had that situation with health and friends and all that. I grew up in schools that were not that good. I got beat up a lot. I got stabbed twice. I still have like a scar on my eye. It shapes you. It's through mud that you can shape your body. Like it's to be honest, I wouldn't say no to any experience I had so far. And if I would go back to 2022 and somebody told me, hey, You want to go to the NLC, but keep in mind, if you accept this, you won't be able to go to the funeral of 2 of your friends because of the war. You will lose your wife. She's gonna take the dog. You're gonna lose all your friends. And you're gonna go through the worst year of your life, and you're going to try and commit. You're gonna try and end it all with pills. And I would tell you, though, I would accept it. It's not the victories that shape you, it's the defeat. And I gotta say, failure is the best flavor once you succeed. I would accept it. So, yeah, my life was complicated, but I'm happy it was. It shaped me as a man.
In battle, we are reborn.
You learned.
So I did look at some Pantheon quotes before I started this interview. And on that note, Archarom, I know I've dragged this on, but it's because it's been such a fun and interesting interview. And I want to thank you for your time, but also, opening up and sharing some of your personal, developments and things you've gone through in your life, because it's not easy to talk about. But, I think it sounds like you've got the right mindset going into this year. And I wish you all the best.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It was a pleasure.
Thanks so much. Is there anything else you'd like to add that I might have missed?
The only thing I might ask from everybody that is watching this is patience to everybody who's working on NLC. And if you see anything that you don't like or you wish it could be improved, reach out to us. Don't be shy. If you're a viewer, you are in your right to ask for something better. And we are in an obligation to make it better. We're getting paid to do it. It's not like I'm going to do the minimum. No, we got to go above and beyond to make sure that the content is good, regardless of the budget. If you accept the job, you should do it to your maximum. So if you see anything that you wish that could be improved and you think that could be improved, tell me. And for NLC, let this day be legend. I hope so.
100%. On that note, thanks so much, Archarom. I really appreciate it. Please drop Archarom a follow, everyone watching this, and drop NLC a follow. And it's back on January 24th, so I'm looking forward to watching the broadcast. And thanks for putting up with this video. I've had blooming sun shining on me forever. I should have sorted that out. But thanks again, Archarom, and all the best.